everybody, it's Rexanna, and I'm just sitting here today at my kitchen table, and I thought what I would do is I would just come on here and we might just chat. It is almost springtime, and that is my favorite time of year, and for many of us it is our favorite time of year. Springtime can be a very happy time. It brings a lot of joy to a lot of people. And for me, like I said, it is my favorite time of year. But for some, it can be a very miserable time of year. So I thought what I would do is I would jump on here and just shoot a quick video and maybe kind of bring some information about springtime, because springtime can be kind of a time of suffering for some people because of seasonal allergies. And I know for me, in my past, I have used this time of year as a time of learning. And many of us, we run to the allergist, or we also run to the pharmacy, and we gather a lot of antihistamines, and we dry up. Because we have a runny nose, we have eyes and ears. I've suffered so much in the past, and I've even had a lot of drainage, and I've developed sore throats. We got to keep working, and we've got to keep going, and it's really no excuse to hibernate. And they tell us to stay indoors. Just get you an antihistamine, keep going, just keep going. You'll be okay. When in fact, these are signs and symptoms that you are really sick, and your body is giving you these signs and symptoms, and your body can even ache and feel bad and let you know, I am really sick, I'm tired. You can feel fatigued, tired, and you can actually want to just stay in bed all day long because you are really, really sick. And for many days, I wanted to stay in bed. I had a grandson that had the same signs and symptoms. So let me tell you a few signs and symptoms, because it can be very emotional. It can be very traumatic, because here we are coming out of the dark winter, and it's spring, everything's coming alive, and spring means new birth. So you're wanting to get out there and have a good time when you're feeling at your worst. You may not be sick all year long, and then turn around come spring when it's time to really get out there and you're really feeling awful. So let me give you a few things to think about, some remedies that I have used, me and my household, and see if it doesn't make sense to you, and something for you to consider and something for you to try. I've worked for many years now, and I have a website, and I've made some tinctures, and they are proven, and they work great. They work wonders. They don't work overnight, but let's get going, okay? Springtime and seasonal allergies, and if you prepare, how you can beat this seasonal allergy. And this year you can beat it. Okay, now it's not just all about the environment, it's also about the food that you eat. So here's some foods to avoid. Any anti-inflammatory or any inflammatory foods you want to avoid. Now I'm going to say sugar, and I'm going to sound like a broken record, because they usually say that's usually the first thing on my list. I tell everybody to give up sugar, and the reason is because sugar is one of the first things that lowers the immune system, and when it lowers your immune system, you become susceptible to anything and everything. And one of the first things that most people have in their diet is cereal, Cokes, anything that has sugar, pastries. And the sugar that is used in all that is the refined sugar, the white powdered sugar, or any kind of corn syrup, which is sugar. If you look at the sugar that's in most of the processed foods, any kind of canned item has the really bad sugar in it. Even in your pastas, it's all sugar. Any kind of tomato paste, any kind of even I love spaghetti. Your spaghetti sauces all have the bad sugar in it. We have to go back to scratch. When I talk about ancestral diet, I talk about go all the way back to the ancestors, like 80 years ago, when they cooked with no sugar in their diet whatsoever. Anything that you pick up out of the grocery store, anything you pick up beside a fruit or vegetable, it will all have sugar in it. And I'm talking anything. If you turn it over, it'll say it has sugar in it. And it all has sugar in it. Even a can of corn, they'll put sugar in it. And that's just because that's the way they preserve everything. Everything is preserved with sugar. Okay, so number 2, a regular grocery store has milk in it. If you're drinking milk, I don't care what kind of milk it is, you just forget milk. And if it's especially cow milk, don't get it out of your diet, because it will cause you to have wetness in your body, and any kind of wetness in your body causes you to be stagnant, and any kind of stagnation in your body will ruin your immune system. Just right off the bat, get rid of dairy. Get rid of dairy. And especially if it comes from a cow, don't drink it. They have all these hormones in there, even though they say they don't, but the way they process it and the way they vaccinate their cows, the way they do the cows, because they process these cows the way they do, they vaccinate them, they shoot them full of medication, and then you're drinking that, and then your body comes down to a certain level, and it's just not a regular way for you to drink. And the molecules are too big for your digestive system to process. And so let me tell you, cow's milk will make you sick. And especially if you're giving it to a younger person, it will make them sick. And if you give it to them like 2 or 3 times, you're gonna notice they're gonna start developing a chronic runny nose, all the time. Their noses are gonna be running all the time. All the time, their nose is gonna be running. And they're constantly gonna have mucus all the time in their body, all the time. It's not just gonna be sinuses or allergies, they're gonna just stay sick all the time. Okay, so get them off milk, get them off sugar. And those 2 things right there, they'll probably start feeling a lot better. They'll sleep a lot better. And if you get them in the sunshine. Okay, wheat and beer, get off of wheat, get off bread, and get off of beer. If you have beer and alcohol in your system, your gut is gonna be so sick because of all of the yeast, the buildup of yeast and the candida that's in your system. And if you have itchy feet, if you have itchiness anywhere, it's from the beer and the yeast and the buildup. If you're a regular beer drinker, your body is, even if you're 30 years old, I don't care. You say, I've been drinking beer since I was 15 or whatever, I don't care. You're gonna have that beer gut, you're gonna start getting itchiness, you're gonna start getting the candida built up in your body. And the wheat, it's all from inflammation building up in your body. And peanuts is really bad because of the mold issue, because that's not an actual nut that falls from a tree, that's from in the ground, and there's lots of mold. I know I used to be stuck on peanuts really bad, but it's really bad for us because it's a legume and it's in the ground, and then when they process it, making peanut butter. And I grew up on peanut butter as a child, and I loved peanut butter. I love peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. But it's really bad because of what it does to our body. So, and another one that I know I'm gonna get a lot of flack over, we did a diet. We stayed away from caffeine, which is coffee, mainly coffee. We tried to stay away from coffee, and we got sick because our body was trying to detoxify from all the caffeine. But we switched over to herbal tea. And herbal teas, some of your herbal teas, like your green tea, have a certain amount, but it's a good type of caffeine, because your head will hurt. You're not thinking clearly. So if you have to just reduce your amount of caffeine and just drink maybe 1 cup of coffee a day, that's really good, because caffeine can also cause you to have lots of inflammation in your body. And it can also cause lots of other things, but I'm not going to go into all that. But you do want to limit your amount of caffeine. If you're a person who drinks like half a pot of coffee, switch back to like maybe just 2 cups of coffee, and then go to 1 cup of coffee. But caffeine is really not good. If you go to small amounts, it's a lot better. And plus it has a lot of problems for your gut. So anyway, and the 6th thing, and I'll stop with this because I could go on and on, is processed foods. Quit eating all those processed foods. Quit eating out, because a lot of times you're not even eating real food. You're eating bioengineered food, or you're not eating food it's not food at all. It just looks like food, but it's not food at all. And it causes lots of health problems in your body. And especially if you're feeding children, they're not getting any nutrition whatsoever. And children need to think, and children need to grow. So don't feed them the processed food. Feed them food that's real food. They need nutrition. You need nutrition if you're an adult. You need your brain cells to grow. You don't want to start having Alzheimer's and start forgetting things, So eat real food. Okay. Now, these are the things that you do need to eat. You're thinking, what does this have to do with allergies? Trust me, your body is starving for nutrition, and the more nutrition, the more magnesium, potassium, and the more minerals that your body has, your body will be restored back, and you won't have all of these, because the more stuff that we get from the ground helps us to fight off all of these foreign invaders, okay? I really do. Okay, number 1 thing that you think that you might need, and that there are little critters out there helping us, is raw honey. Our local raw honey. And in this area, I have a beekeeper. He lives a couple of houses from me. And I met him when we very first moved here, and he is a beekeeper. He has actual raw honey. And he has a little beehive down in his honey and everything, So you want to get at your farmer's market, or you want to meet your beehive person that's right around in your area, because these bees will go around, and if you have a garden, they'll even maybe come to your garden and get pollinate your plants, and then you do the honey, and then you use the honey on your teas, like if you have herbal teas and stuff. So this time of year, they're really active this time of year. They're trying to go to the dandelion. They're trying to go over here. They're trying to do your flowers that are trying to bud. And that's what makes it really good. And, a lot of people say, you don't need to be outside this time of year if you're suffering. Well, I say you need to go on a walk, and you need to get exposure. Not like if it's a really windy day and you're suffering really badly, maybe don't go outside, but to check your mail, and then do something, but just get outside for a couple of minutes and then come back inside. But don't stay inside all the time, because you do need to get your immunity built back up. If your immunity is down, you need to get your immunity a little up. Get some raw honey in your body. Get you some herbal tea. And I'll talk about the herbal tea that you need to be drinking here in just a minute. When you're cooking your meal, do some hot and spicy foods. I made some chicken last night, and the chicken that I used was grass-fed. It's not anything pasture. They're out in the pasture. They're free-range chicken. But what I'm trying to say is the stuff that I put on it was a little bit of cayenne pepper, and I didn't have any actual peppers. But if I had some peppers, because I made some mango and some pineapple. You want to use pineapple a lot because pineapple has some good bromelain in it. And I put some cayenne pepper in there. I made it kind of like a sweet and sour type chicken sauce on there. You want to use enough where it's not really, really hot. If, you know, everybody's got their own hot and type flavor. But if I had some really hot peppers, I would have put some hot peppers in there. You can make it sweet. You can make it hot and sweet, you know. Make your recipes where they're nice and delicious, but where it's going to have all that stuff in there in your food to where it's going to open you up and keep your sinuses going. Bone broth. Bone broth is really good, not just for this time of year, but bone broth is really good for your gut health. It's also good to keep things going in your immune system, but it's also good for the entire year, for your bones. It's good for your bones. It's good for your gut. It's good for your eyes. It's good for your mental health. Bone broth for any type of bone that you have is really good for, I say for women, but it's really good for men too. It's good for allergy season. This time of year, I do several, I just almost can't cook without bone broth. I'm like, where's my bone broth? I have it in my freezer. I have it in my cabinet. I can it. I get it from my local rancher. She gets bones for me. I get it off all of my stuff. I save my bones and I use my bones in all my cooking. So I highly encourage you, if you don't have a way, get it from your grocery store. Bone broth is excellent. Just drink it like you're drinking tea. Drink you several cups a day when you're really having this problem. If you freeze it and then you get it out and you thaw it out and you're really having a hard time with this time of year, drink it like you're drinking a cup of tea. It will really help you. Okay, so probiotic foods. You're wondering, what's a probiotic food? I used to think that too. What it is, any kind of fermented vegetables. If you have some fermented vegetables, if you have like a small pint jar, put some vegetables in there and ferment your vegetables like with some salt water. And there's tons of videos out there. I never knew really how to do that either, but there's a certain amount of like Redmond salt or sea salt and then water, and you can ferment them. It takes maybe a week to ferment some vegetables in a jar. And then you just want to make sure to check it. You can do it longer than that, but I don't like mine like really fermented for a longer period of time. I usually do mine about 7 to 10 days. I don't let mine go over 10 days because I like to keep my vegetables nice and crispy. Anything over 7 to 10 days is not any good for me. So I keep mine right there on the counter, and then they even have the fermenting lids. I've only got like 4 lids. I've only got like 4 designated jars. I ferment a little bit. I don't ferment a lot. I'm a big canner. But there are also other ways that you can do it. You can go to your grocery store and just buy some sauerkraut that has the probiotic. It'll have on there that it's usually in the cold section. It's not going to be on the counter where it's hot because it usually won't be good. It has to be in the cold section because in the cold section it's already fermented. Okay. And you also want to get some ginger. I'm a big fan of ginger. I think if you've ever watched any of my videos, you'll see I'm big on ginger. Pineapple is big and papaya is big. Just eat it because they're really good for your stomach. And if you want to get an anti-inflammatory book or just Google anti-inflammatory diet, there's lots of anti-inflammatory foods that are out there. Just get on an anti-inflammatory diet. There's lots of people that share their advice, and I have gotten on an anti-inflammatory diet. It will really help you. There's so much that is going on out there right now. And so for me, that's really big, is to stay away from foods that's going to cause more inflammatory in my body. I used to have a glass of wine every now and then, and I used to kind of get, feeling pretty good. I've started at the beginning of the year. I don't even drink wine anymore because if it's going to hurt my body, I think, why would I do that? I mean, it's just something to think about, and if it's causing you problems, I don't know why we would want to do that. So I just took it away because it's not a big deal to me. So that's something to think about. Okay, For me, the quercetin is a pill that you can take, but I thought, why take a pill when I have to take a couple of supplements already? I have to take magnesium pills, and everybody's kind of trying to cut their budget down right now. So what I did is I just looked up quercetin foods, which is garlic and onions. I eat those all the time anyway, and apples, pears. Those are the foods that you're gonna eat anyway, so why eat the tablet, you know? And so there's a lot of foods that you can Google that are high in quercetin, and just incorporate them into your diet. And the other thing is, after you eat or first thing in the morning when you wake up, take about a teaspoon and put it in a large glass of water and drink it. And it helps if you have heartburn, or anytime that you think that you have heartburn, you can put a teaspoon or 2 teaspoons and put a little bit of honey in there, and it will help with your heartburn. So, I mean, these are some simple, easy, quick tips that you can learn to do that are very inexpensive. You're gonna eat, just choose wisely what you put in your mouth, and that will be nutritious. And I've got another video where I'm just waiting patiently on my lids that are gonna have more nutrition, that are gonna be my sprouts. And they will also help with your allergies that are gonna have more nutrition to them. But some other things that I've learned to do over the years are my tinctures. My tinctures that, like I was saying in the beginning of the video, I stayed really dry. My skin stayed really dry because every time you take antihistamine, you're drying up the entire inside of your body and the outside of your body. When you take a shower, the water that you are showering with is drying your body. So when you take an antihistamine, of course they tell you to drink lots and lots of water, because you're drying out the inside of your body. You're also drying the outside of your body. So no matter how much lotion you put on, which brings me to another good point, lotions, depending on what type of lotion you are, what type of lotion you're buying, not what type of lotion you are, what type of lotion you're buying, some of the lotions actually dry your body out even more, your skin. So I went and I got Nettles leaf tincture, which is just stinging nettles. And I buy this by the bulk because of the fact that stinging nettles, if you drink it in the tea form, or you can also tincture it, and I do tincture quite a bit of this because I will list it in the show more. It's up underneath this video. You can click on the show more, and I will have a my website will be underneath the show more tab, and you can buy this on my website. But this tincture, you can put it underneath your tongue, and I have the directions and everything on the bottle. It's for seasonal allergies. But not only is the tincture good for seasonal allergies, but drinking this, you can cook with this herb, you can grow it in your backyard, and it's just full of minerals. It is so full of so many good things. And I've got right here, I don't want to, it's an anti-inflammatory, and it's astringent, it's a decongestant, it's a diuretic, an expectorant, it's a nutritive, which means the histamine that is a chemical that's released in the body with stress. So any kind of stress that you have going on inside your body is going to release it, the histamine. And the allergy reactions, nettle is an antihistamine herb that can help you reduce the chemical that's inside your body. So it's just like it's made to help you get rid of all of these problems that you have going on inside. Plus, it's giving you the nutrients to balance out everything so that your body can go back to harmony. And for me, a lot of times during the day, what I'm doing, it is an excellent tasting herb as well. But for me, everything that I know about this, I sometimes mix a little bit of peppermint, and especially this time of year, I mix peppermint with the stinging nettle. And the reason I do this is because I love the taste of peppermint. I love the way that it makes my body feel, and also the peppermint is really good to open up your nasal passages. And when I'm just walking around here, I'm doing my laundry like I am today, and I'm drinking some stinging nettle, I'll make me a glass pitcher. I have a pitcher over there now with, sorry about that, that's my dryer. I will just make me a pitcher of it, and I'll be drinking it cold over ice. You can drink it hot, which can open up your chest if you feel a little bit congested, and the steam will go up your nose and open your complete head. And it's good to do that at night. It's not going to make you drowsy, but what it's going to do is it's going to, open up and loosen up your complete nasal passages and help you to relax and rest at night, because you will be breathing very good. And so that is that about stinging nettles. You'll want to do this stinging nettles until you are completely, you could do it 2 and 3 times a day. And you can also do this like for a week to 2 weeks. You could actually do this for as long as you need to throughout the season. And it's completely safe to do that. You could do it on days that you're not really sure. You can continue to do it. There's people that do it 3 or 4 months in a row because they have that problem. And then you can lay off of it for a week or 2 and then go back to doing it after a week or 2. But my favorite, I do love stinging nettles, but sometimes I don't actually do the tincture as much because everybody's chemistry is different. My chemistry, I'm a mullein person, and if you'll notice, I have less mullein and a lot more of that. I actually just got this because I use this more for cooking, and I use this more on my dog because it's very nutritive. Actually, both of these are very nutritive, but this one I use this more because this is more for cold, flu. This is more for a lot of different seasons. And mullein and marshmallow, these two right here go together. And these two is in this tincture, and this is on my website as well, and it will be down in the show more notes in the description below as well in this video. And this is allergy and sinus support, and it is much more, I think, across the board. And in my opinion, I use this more. This is one in my husband's cabinet, one in my cabinet in my bathroom. And I just started using this actually, and it's a preventative measure. I did not feel that I had just a little postnasal drip. I do not have like anything major going on, but you can use this as a preventative measure. And the reason that I say that is because mullein is like the great wonder. That's what we call it, the great mullein. And it is to help you if you're prone to allergies. And it helps with the lung tissue inside the lung lining. It helps with any inflammatory issues that you might have going on. If your lungs hurt, it actually goes in and keeps your lungs from hurting. And it is an expectorant, a demulcent, and a nervine. And so anytime you have something that's a nervine, and like I said, if your lungs are hurting, I have a history of asthma, and I used to carry an inhaler. And so mullein is like one of the things that I make sure that I'm never out of. And I will be growing mullein in my backyard. I actually have mullein started from seed. So anyway, marshmallow is known as the sweet weed. They're both very fluffy. And so they take a lot to, you could pour alcohol over them, come back and have to pour more alcohol on them, and even water. They absorb a lot. They are very fluffy herbs, very fluffy. And even when you're in the garden with them, I love these herbs. These two herbs are very awesome. I could talk about them for a long time. Okay, it's also known as common mallow. Common mallow. It's much like mullein, but it helps in different body parts. That's why I use them together. And that's why I really love these two. It's also an anti-inflammatory, a demulcent, expectorant, a nervine, a diuretic, and it's a mild laxative. And it's very beautiful because it has very beautiful flowers on it. The dosage is pretty much the same thing. If you ever have a hard time using tinctures, like underneath the tongue is the recommended way to take them. You might want to just put them like in a little shot glass with a little 2 ounces of water, and then you could just take it that way. Some people put it in their juice, in the morning juice, or just, I've even heard some people say, you know, they just put it in their morning tea, and you could do it that way. It doesn't have to be underneath the tongue like a lot of is recommended. So there are other ways to take your tincture. But these two right here are my absolute favorite for getting, and this right here, I've taken it a month at a time to get over this seasonal allergy. I've taken it throughout the year when I've just had, you know, sometimes I'll cheat on my diet. This is not recommended, but I'm just going to be honest with you. I've cheated on my diet. I've gotten off my diet, and I've noticed that I have a little bit of mucus come up because that is from diet issues. And I will go back and get on this, and I'll say, you know, it's time to make some more, because I do sell this on my website. And so there you go. But I always follow it up with my tea. That's why I always like to have my herbs. That's why getting my garden started this year, these are the herbs that I will be growing. I do have some, I have a medicinal garden area, and then I'll have a culinary herb garden area. And that is because, you know, you want to go out and get your culinary herbs. But a lot of my culinary herbs I also use for medicinal uses. So anyway, this is what I think is my recommendation to a lot of people if they would like to have some help through this time to avoid some foods, to implement some foods, and to just make life a little easier. I will also put down in the Show More tab places that you can go. Like my marshmallow leaf is certified organic, and it is I bought this through, I believe this was bought through Starwest Botanicals. And I do buy my herbs, I do source my herbs through another place, and I'll put that down in, because I got my nettles through another place. I will also put that link down in my description of this video. But I hope this is helpful to everybody. I hope you do not suffer in any way, and I hope that if you do happen to get a little postnasal drip like me, I hope it is very mild, and I hope that you're careful what you put in your mouth. And I hope that if you do happen to need a tincture, I hope that I could be of service to you. And you know, I do have a sale going on right now. I think I will have a sale on one of my tinctures. You can check it out. Go to my website and check it out till the end of this month. And that's all for now. But you know what, you guys, I just wanted to thank everybody for stopping by. And if you made it to the end of the video, thank you so much. And I enjoy doing these videos for everybody. Please like and subscribe, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day and a great spring. I know I'm excited. I know I'm going to be getting out there in my greenhouse soon. My flowers are coming up, and I'm going to be heading out there, getting things ready. I'll be shooting another video soon, letting you know the progress of the greenhouse. But like I said, that's all for now. You guys have a blessed day. And that's it for now. This is Rexanna with Past Present Herbs. Bye-bye.